Evening, everybody. One of the questions I got from yesterday was a Blender question. It was, how do I do stark shading in Blender? Well, it's not a node technique, even though it is in the node part of the assignment. If we wanted to stark shade this, we can already see it's got shading to some extent because we've got the light automatically emitting everything. But stark shading is a little bit different. So if we made this particular color, so let's make its base color something like, I don't know, no, there you go, purple. And let's subdivide it a little bit so we've got a tiny bit of detail. Let's scale up so we can see what we're doing. There we go. So now we've got something that looks good, and there we go, we've got a little bit of detail. And all we'll do is, let's just give it, ooh, well, there you go. So we've got an interesting shape now. And what we want to do is we want to make it have stark shading. So at the moment we've got normal shading coming from this light. Let's get rid of that light altogether. There you go, gone. What we want to do is get this doing having stark shading, so shading that we actually put on it ourselves. So we're actually going to make it emit because it's easier to see what's going on there. Oh, let's just refind our purple. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it. So Shift D duplicates. So we've now got an extra one of those. And all we're going to do is very gently put it off to one side, so it's just off the original object. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a new color, so we can use this little one, which is a new material. Basically copy the one you were doing, and we're going to make this one very, very dark. And we can now use this to move around very slightly and give our material some really stark shading, so you see it creeping around the edge just there. It works really nicely. I mean, our object here is a little bit odd, but you can see if you scale it, you start to see the stark shading really, really sort of creep over the entire thing. So if we were now to do a quick render of it, remember 0 goes to the camera, N goes to view, then lock camera to view. We can now find that perfect render, give it a background, of course. You always want some kind of a background. So let's make it nice and bright so it goes against it. And if we render that out, oops, it's gone massive. You should see we've now got a stark shaded odd object. So if you subdivide it further, you tend to get better versions of it. But as long as you can see, stark shading is very literally grabbing a black version of it and using that to force some shading upon it. Okay, stark shading in one. So let's take that and use it on a larger piece. So this is a tank. We might recognize it from one of the lessons when we were talking about using the freestyle. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to do the same thing. So we're going to duplicate the object. It's all one thing. Move it off very slightly. And we're going to make the material, well, we can see we've got two materials here, so what we're going to do is make a new one, and we're going to make that black, so we can see we've already got some details appearing. We'll get rid of the other one just in case. So now we can see we've got a really nice detail appearing, so if we scale it up, we start getting different sort of effects going on in our shape. So there we go. Really, really odd stark shading because there's no shading. You know, it's meant to come from a light source, but we can see all I've done there is moved it around. If we do move it very slightly, you can see there you go. Now the light source is coming from that direction. Now it's coming from that side. It all works out quite nicely. Again, render it through. There we go. And we've got our tank. It works quite nicely. Alrighty. So it works on larger models as well.